Thinking used car? Finally, there's a place just for you. Motor Trend Orlando, the all-new used car superstore. All makes, all models, all certified, all at one place. Hundreds of vehicles. Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Ford, Chevy, Lexus. All makes, all models. Prices up to 65% off original MSRP. All Motor Trend certified vehicles. Finally, the name you can trust in used cars. Motor Trend Orlando. Check it out at mtorlando.com or visit our 35,000-foot indoor showroom today. Motor Trend Orlando.
And if I could ask you, because I'm going to thank a few people, and again, thank you for allowing me, indulge with me. I also want to thank, and I see some of them just walking by, let's thank the first responders who keep us safe, who run into trouble when we are in trouble. Thank you, folks. Thank you. I also need to thank a few more people. You remember when we were told that manufacturing jobs would never return to the United States of America. It required a magic wand. It didn't require a magic wand. It required faith in the American people. And it required a president and vice president who understood how to create jobs in the greatest nation in the world. So I want to thank the President of the United States and the Vice President and his administration for getting this economy roaring again. Y vamos a estar claros, nadie se ha beneficiado más de esta economía que los latinos en los Estados Unidos de América. Nobody has benefited more. Nobody. I also want to thank the President and the Vice President for rebuilding the greatest military in the history of humanity and making sure that they have the equipment and the training that they need and that they deserve. I want to thank this administration, the President and the Vice President and the entire administration for standing up against terrorism and terrorists and taking them out when they need to be eliminated. And standing against terrorists, but also standing with our allies and standing against those adversaries, those who hate freedom, those who oppress their people. Whether it's Cuba, whether it's Nicaragua, whether it's Venezuela, freedom in this hemisphere has had no better friend than the Trump administration. No better friend. I want to thank the administration for fighting and protecting religious freedom across the land. For fighting and protecting the most vulnerable among us, including the unborn. We have never had a greater champion of protecting innocent life than this president and this vice president of the United States. Never, never. So, tengo el privilegio, primero, de estar con ustedes, con sus pastores, en esta bellísima iglesia. Esta bellísima iglesia. Gracias. Y tengo el honor y el privilegio de presentarles ahora. I have the privilege and the honor of introducing a very special guest, an extraordinary human being. She is our gracious, dedicated, and accomplished Second Lady of the United States. But let me tell you a little bit about her. You see, Mrs. Pence, she spent 25 years teaching as an Karen Pence. Karen Pence.
Hey, everybody. Woo! Woo! Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Your enthusiasm is amazing. And thank you, Mario. We have been friends for a long, long time. I have with us tonight, one of our guests is our son's wife, our son who's in the military, our daughter-in-law, Sarah Pence. So she's with us tonight as well. So. It is such an honor to be here with you. And before I say anything else, I just want to say that we join you in praying for the people of Puerto Rico after the earthquake. But it is really great to be with this coalition, Latinos for Trump. Welcome to Team Trump. In November, I had the privilege of speaking to a Latinos for Trump event in Las Vegas. And let me tell you, we had a lot of fun at that event. But thank you for welcoming tonight, both of us, to be here at this Latinos for Trump event. I'm here with Mike, and I know that that's probably who you're waiting to hear from. So thank you for inviting both of us to be here with you. And now, the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence.
Well, hello, Florida. It is hola, Florida. It is great to be back in the Sunshine State with so many great friends for this great momentous occasion. Let me also, would you all join me in just thanking Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart for being an outstanding leader for Florida and for America. Give him another big round of applause. This is a champion of the conservative agenda and a great ally of this administration. Thank you, my friend. Great to be here with so many friends here at this Kissimmee meeting of one of the most exciting coalitions of the 2020 campaign. Welcome to Latinos for Trump. And thank you all for being here. We've had a great day in Florida, and a lot of that's had to do with the fact that I'm traveling with my best friend. You just heard from her. She's a Marine Corps mom. She's a champion of military families. She's even an art teacher at a Christian school. Would you mind just show one more time? Thank the Second Lady of the United States, my wonderful wife, Karen Pence, for all she does for the cause in the country. She is so great. And we are so excited to be with all of you. Thank you for coming out. And I got to tell you, we're here. Thank you. So are we. But we're here for one reason and one reason only. And that is that Florida and America need 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House. We're going to get 4 more years, and Latinos for Trump are going to lead the way. You know, it really is amazing. I was just talking backstage to a couple reporters about the support across this country that we see from Latino Americans. It's really exciting. Under the president's leadership, Hispanic unemployment is at the lowest level ever recorded in American history. This is a president who has stood up. He's stood up for jobs and opportunities, but he's also stood up for the values and faith and freedom of people in the Latino community like no one else. And we've stood for religious freedom at home and all across the world. But we're here because just a few short weeks ago, in another corner of Florida, we launched this great coalition. And I know that Hispanic Americans across Florida and across America know we're just getting started. We need 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House. You know, it's also a special honor to be here at Nación de Fe. What a great ministry. Incredible ministry, particularly a ministry that has touched the lives of so many Hispanic Americans, including so many proud Puerto Rican Americans. And I want to thank all the members of the Puerto Rican community who are here, and it's my great honor to announce that this afternoon, the President of the United States signed a disaster declaration to provide additional support and public assistance to the families in the wake of the hurricanes in Puerto Rico. We're with you. We're with you. You know, Karen and I had the great privilege of visiting Puerto Rico in October of 2017. It was an extraordinary visit. We were so moved. We saw firsthand then, didn't we, dear, the devastation of Hurricane Maria and Hurricane Irma. But we also saw the incredible resilience of Puerto Rican Americans. And we saw the faith of those communities, and those communities of faith step forward to help families at their hour of need. And we were deeply inspired. After those terrible hurricanes devastated the island, the President's allocated a total of $44 billion to help our fellow Americans in Puerto Rico recover. And I'm proud to report those funds have already helped rebuild more than 100,000 homes in Puerto Rico. But with today's support, our message to Puerto Rican Americans is simply this: we are with you today, we will be with you tomorrow, and we will be with you every day until Puerto Rico rebuilds bigger and better than ever before. So God bless them all. So thank you all for being here. But I got to tell you, like all of you, I'm here because I stand with President Donald Trump. When this president fights for jobs and opportunities for every American, including Latino Americans, I stand with President Donald Trump. When this president stands for the faith and values and ideals of Latino Americans, we stand with President Donald Trump. And when this president, as Commander-in-Chief, takes decisive action to defend American lives, we stand with President Donald Trump. Now, 4 years ago, a movement was born, and all of you became a part of it. It started at the bottom of the escalator. And it became a movement of everyday Americans from every walk of life. I mean, here in Florida, in particular, you believe we could be strong again. You believe we could be prosperous again. You said yes to President Donald Trump in 2016, and we know that Florida's going to say yes to 4 more years of President Donald Trump in 2020. it's all about the results. You know, I like to say 2016 was about promises made. 2020 is about promises kept. I mean, the truth is, that's the only way you could describe the last 3 years. 3 years of action, 3 years of results, and 3 years of promises made and promises kept. I mean, think about it, Florida. It's incredible. This president promised to rebuild our military and give our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard the resources and the support they need to accomplish their mission and defend this nation, and President Donald Trump delivered. This president has signed the largest increase in our national defense since the days of Ronald Reagan. And Latino Americans know the tens of thousands that serve in the uniform of the United States and our veterans. The armed forces of the United States is the greatest force for good the world has ever known. We've not only provided the resources, the bases, the historic bases here in Florida and all across the country, but this president also implemented a vision to make sure that we remain as dominant in space as we are on land and sea and air. Last month, President Donald Trump launched the Space Force, the first new branch of our armed forces in 70 years. It's just incredible. You know, I'm so glad Karen introduced our daughter-in-law, Sarah Pence, married to our Marine. And Sarah, we are so thrilled you're here and so grateful for your family. You know, as your vice president, but also as a proud father of a United States Marine, and I'm also just a couple weeks away from becoming the father-in-law of a United States Navy pilot. And I couldn't be more proud to be vice president to a president who cares so deeply about the men and women of our armed forces and their families. It's true. I mean, the truth is, we all know that those that put on the uniform of the United States essentially have made a decision to count our lives more important than theirs. They've gone out to put their lives on the line to defend our nation. We know it does not come without sacrifice. I was reminded of that this last Tuesday night. At the President's direction, we were there at Dover Air Force Base when the remains of 2 fallen heroes came home from Afghanistan. They were lost in an IED blast this last weekend. And I want you to remember those families in your prayers. And I was so moved. I was so moved to hear of the pride of their parents and their determination to honor the memory of their loved one. So let me say before each and every one of you, America will never forget or fail to honor the service and sacrifice of Staff Sergeant Ian McLaughlin or Specialist Miguel Villalon. God bless them both. And God bless our troops. Now, traveling around the country and around the world, we've had an opportunity to visit our soldiers, and it's truly inspiring. Karen and I made our way overseas over Thanksgiving to visit our troops. And the hundreds of thousands of Hispanic active duty service members know, as all of our service members know, they have a commander-in-chief who will always have their back. It's true. I mean, this president has made the strongest military in the history of the world stronger still. I mean, think about it. Where the last administration sent pallets of cash to terrorists in the Iran nuclear deal, under this president, we got out of the Iran deal and we've taken the fight to radical Islamic terrorists on our terms, on their soil. It's different. And just a few weeks ago, when one American life was lost in a shelling on a base in Iraq at the hands of Iranian-backed militias, this president launched the first air strikes in 10 years against those militia bases. And when militants stormed our embassy on New Year's Eve in Baghdad, this president sent in the Marines. No more Benghazis. And when American lives were threatened by the most dangerous terrorist in the world, President Donald Trump took action, and Qasem Soleimani is gone. And even in the wake of the Iranian missile attack a week ago, thanks to the skill and heroism of our military on the ground, no American casualties, and Iran is standing down. That's what leadership looks like. That's the leadership of President Donald Trump. And this president has also stood strong. He stood strong defending our freedom, but he's also stood strong for freedom across this hemisphere. Under the president's leadership, the United States was the first nation on earth to recognize President Juan Guaido as the only legitimate president of Venezuela. And America will stand with the people of Venezuela until their libertad is restored. And this president kept his promise to Cuban Americans when he reversed the failed policies of the last administration. In this White House, it will always be Que viva Cuba Libre. So it's been about national security. It's been about standing for freedom and defending freedom. But this president also knows that national security starts with border security. We've made historic investments to secure our southern border. I mean, did you know that half of our Customs and Border Protection agents are Hispanic Americans, and they do an incredible job every single day. And thanks to their courage and dedication, in the last 7 months, apprehensions on our southern border are down by more than 70%, and we've already started to build that wall on the southern border of the United States. Border security first. And I promise you, whatever Democrats want to do to continue to deny and obstruct our efforts, we're going to secure our border. We're going to end this crisis of illegal immigration, and we're going to fix this broken immigration system once and for all. I promise you. And in support of the rule of law, as Congressman Diaz-Balart just said, this president has stood unwaveringly with the men and women who serve on the thin blue line of law enforcement every single day. You know, there's a lot of members of law enforcement that show up when I'm around. Would you all mind getting on your feet and showing them how much you appreciate the job they do? Every single day. God bless you. Thank you, man. Great men and women. Great men and women. Thank you. Thank you. And in support of the rule of law, this president also kept his word to the people of Florida. As I stand before you today, he's already appointed more than 180 principled conservatives to our federal courts at every level, and they are all men and women who will uphold all the God-given liberties in our Constitution, like the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, and the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. True. And beyond all of that, I speak on behalf of my wife and I when I tell you we couldn't be more proud to serve alongside a president who stands without apology for the sanctity of human life. Did you know one of the president's very first acts in office is he reinstated what's called the Mexico City policy to ensure that taxpayer dollars would never be used to provide or promote abortions overseas? And it was my honor to cast the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate that allowed states to defund Planned Parenthood. President Donald Trump is the most pro-life president in American history. So we're standing for the values that have made America great. And we're also standing for the freedom to live out your values, including our first freedom, the freedom of religion. As we stand here in this house of prayer, it's National Religious Freedom Day. And President Trump just announced a new rule just hours ago to require all schools receiving federal funding to be sure to allow students, teachers, and coaches to pray on the school grounds. This new rule also tells schools they can't discriminate against religious groups because they're religious. We're protecting the constitutional rights of every student of every faith in America. I mean, the freedom of religion should not stop at the schoolhouse door. This administration will stand for the freedom of religion of every American of every faith. So it's about security. It's about our liberties. It's about our values. And under this president, it's also about three more things. It's about jobs, jobs, jobs. Did you get that? Good. I mean, from the first day of this administration, President Trump said we can revive the American economy. You know, we'd gone through 8 years of the slowest economic recovery since the Great Depression. I mean, the last administration thought that they could tax and borrow and bail and regulate their way to a growing economy. And the American economy grew by less than 2%. And President Trump went straight to work as soon as we arrived on Capitol Hill. We worked with our colleagues in Congress, like Congressman Diaz-Balart.
Thinking used car? Finally, there's a place just for you. Motor Trend Orlando, the all-new used car superstore. All makes, all models, all certified, all at one place. Hundreds of vehicles. Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Ford, Chevy, Lexus. All makes, all models. Prices up to 65% off original MSRP. All Motor Trend certified vehicles. Finally, the name you can trust in used cars. Motor Trend Orlando. Check it out at mtorlando.com or visit our 35,000-foot indoor showroom today. Motor Trend Orlando.